Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pain to Purpose podcast live. I am your host, Vanessa Simpson, and here we have beautiful Sabrina. Me and her just started working together. And ever since I came across her and really felt her energy and what she does, she told me that she's in the field of functional medicine. And I was like, whoa, like, what is this? And she told me that, typical traditional medicine, we're healing the symptoms, but we're not actually getting to the root. And I was like, man, I've said that kind of shit before too. This why I do the energy healing work is, going down to the root and healing the root instead of just healing the or working with the symptoms. So she said that that's what functional medicine is all about, and it really intrigued me. So I wanted to have her on the show today to share a little bit about her own story with functional medicine and her pain to purpose journey, and any tips and tricks of how we can heal ourselves with functional medicine. So hi, Sabrina, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm so happy and grateful.
Yeah, great. Me too.
Oh, good. Yes. So Sabrina, tell us a little bit about, your journey and kind of where you started.
Well, when I think about functional medicine, it actually goes way back to where my grandma's house. And my grandma always used to have vitamins everywhere, like all sorts of vitamins, so two huge shelves of vitamins. And this is a small Midwest town in Nebraska, where most people didn't have this type of thing. You traditionally just went to see the doctor, and then you did what the doctor said, and you went from there. But I just remember as a kid, anytime I had any sort of ailment, she was giving me the vitamins. Um, so that kind of has stuck with me for a while, and it kind of made me more interested in alternative or holistic healing.
Yeah.
Since I've been a kid, my mom suffered some medical malpractice and has been sick my entire life. And I always just wanted to help fix her. I just wanted to see her get better. And I saw her get better when she would do things with vitamins, nutrients, yoga, stretching, exercising. And then I would see the harm of her going to different doctors and getting different treatments and not being understood or really even being listened to. So
Yeah.
that kind of started me in my path of nursing school. And then it led me to go into more of a preventative role in nurse practitioner school. And when I was in nurse practitioner school, I almost quit because I was frustrated with the fact that, I'm just giving medications and still not really healing anyone. And I need to see these patients every 10 minutes. Like I have to go.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to give them any, nutrition or diet. I just told them they needed to go on a diet. Oh, just go on a diet. Everything will be fine. Right. So I decided to stick it out through nursing school and nurse practitioner school, and ended up finding something called functional medicine. And the reason I found it was because I got sick. So I moved into my house around 2014 and started a new job. It was a great job, but worked a ton of hours. And so when you're working a lot, you're a single mom with twin boys, my diet wasn't perfect. If anything, it was probably just super destructive. Whatever I could eat right now came in a bag, came in a box. I was eating it. I was drinking more. I was, stressed. That's how I relieved my stress. So every night I'd have a couple drinks. And then I started noticing, my stomach doesn't feel so right, like just having some gastrointestinal issues. And then I noticed I was freezing all the time. So we would have a fight in our office where I would go down and turn up the heat. And then the people in menopause in my office would come down, turn down the heat. And all day long, we're just pushing the buttons up and down, up and down. And I remember, and this is really where I was like, what's going on? My coworker came around and we just had the busiest day. And she's like, what are you going to do tonight? And I'm like, go to bed. I'm so tired. I mean, I don't even think I can make dinner. I'm exhausted. And she's like, I go, well, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm going to take the dog for a walk. And then after the dog for a walk, I'm probably going to stay up. And, I have some crafts I'm working on. And I was just looking at her like, how in the world does this person have this much energy? And why don't I have this much energy? We just did the same job. So I went to my primary care doctor and she tested my thyroid and the numbers came back normal. And I was like, well, it's not my thyroid. So I guess it's just something I have to live with. And then the next year I went back, same symptoms, same diet, same stress, checked my thyroid, a little bit more elevated, but at the same time, still normal. And so I was a little frustrated. I was kind of hoping something was wrong, you know? And then finally, the third year I go in, so 2014, 2015, my TSH keeps climbing, climbing, climbing. And then by 2017, amen, my TSH is 8.5. I'm definitely hypothyroid. Time to treat. So I was excited, right? I was excited I finally had a disease process that could be treated. And so I got my Synthroid. I was, super excited, popping the first pill, thinking I'm going to lose weight in 5 seconds. Like, this is going to be great. 6 weeks go by. Doctor comes, here, let's check your blood levels again. Checks my blood levels. Hey, good news. Everything looks normal now. So keep taking your medication. And I was like, okay, but I'm still cold and I'm still fat. So when does it kick in that I start losing weight and I start, my symptoms start going away? And she's like, oh, well, I mean, if your symptoms aren't controlled, I mean, your thyroid numbers look good. So, we could maybe go up on the thyroid pill if you need to, but right now you're doing fine. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm just like, okay. So as this was happening, I get this little Facebook message saying, is your thyroid numbers normal, but yet you still feel terrible? And I'm like, oh my God, yes. And it ended up being a functional medicine practice. And I went in and we ran a bunch of tests. Turns out I had a gut infection that I had no idea I had. My triglycerides were almost 300 when they're supposed to be less than 100. So that's like the fat floating around in my system from my poor diet. My cholesterol was high because of the food that I was eating. I was trending towards hyperglycemia or insulin resistance, or AKA diabetes. And I didn't know this, right? So I just thought I had a thyroid problem. But turns out I had a gut infection. I had poor lab values on my insulin resistance, poor lab values on my cholesterol panels. It wasn't trending a very good direction. And I wouldn't have known any of this if I hadn't gone to these people. And within, several months, clearing the gut infection, changing my diet, learning how to de-stress, of a more healthy way, I completely reversed everything. I reversed my thyroid problem. So it just was like, well, why am I working, giving people these pills knowing that they could have all these underlying infections? I'm not really helping them out. So I decided to go to functional medicine, start taking classes with the Institute of Functional Medicine. And I fell in love. And, there's so many practitioners out there that believe the same things I do now, because most of us have had problems and didn't get fixed by conventional medicine. So we found, functional medicine helped save our lives. And I was just like, man, I have to start doing this. This is truly my passion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So from what I was hearing, that our diets have so much to do with a lot of the symptoms that we deal with.
Yeah. I feel like diet is obviously it's a huge part of it. It's called the standard American diet. We call it a SAD diet, right? SAD. Just because it's not giving you the nutrients that you need to function, to allow your body to be at its best. So normally, say I'm eating a cheeseburger every day, your body's trying to process this every day, process the meat, process the toxins, process the bread, that kind of thing. And when you eat it every day, your body just can't handle that toxic load, essentially. So things start shifting, and that's just not saying cheeseburgers are bad. I love myself a good cheeseburger, but I eat the good stuff. There's ways to make your favorite foods, just a more healthy version. So diet is definitely important. But what I really like to describe is everyone has a toxic bucket. So if you can imagine a bucket, and you see that person over there that's smoking and drinking their whole life and they live to be 100. Well, their bucket's probably pretty full. I mean, pretty big. It's a big bucket, right? But then you have the person that runs a marathon every, once a year and eats healthy, and their bucket still might be this big. So when they get, exposed to certain chemicals or biotoxins or gluten or something, it fills their bucket up, and then it leads them to have more disease process. So functional medicine is more of a personalized plan for each person because it just depends on, what they're going through. We look at stressors in your life. We look all the way back to when your mom was pregnant with you. How was her pregnancy? Did she take medications? Were you a vaginal or cesarean birth? Were you sick as a kid? Where did you live? What kind of environment? Did it have a ton of mold? Were you exposed to a lot of chemicals? I had a patient who had a high arsenic level, and we were just talking one day, and she's like, "Yeah, my house used to be a chicken, like a big chicken coop, and they like refurbished it and everything, and chicken tends to have a high level of arsenic." So it was just really interesting that her home that she thought was safe actually had a high level of a metal called arsenic, which is toxic to your brain.
Mm.
It's just super interesting. You just end up being like a medical detective in a way.
Mm. Wow, I love this. I love this because I do feel like the traditional Western medicine, it's just like and the reason speaking more in the therapy realm, I didn't move forward to become a mental health therapist or a psychiatrist even, was that there's like this box or this, let's say a human is an orange, and if you're not an orange, something's wrong with you, and then we're going to use these outside sources and biochemically like change you if there's
Right.
something wrong.
Right.
So I love how you're expressing what functional medicine is and how we're all unique, and all the way from like how we were born is going to be different, and it's going to affect how our health is mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually in this world. So
Right.
yeah, that's really beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, I feel like when you're working in a conventional setting, and it's not necessarily their fault, and I'm not saying doctors are bad. I still go and see my primary care doctor, but I always ask the question why. So before I take a prescription or before I go into the doctor, I'm like, well, why am I having the symptom?
Yeah.
What is my body trying to show me right now that is alerting me? Because that's what symptoms are, right? Symptoms are telling you that something isn't right. So if you're getting a symptom, you don't want to cover that symptom up. You want to figure out why you're having it. So why is my thyroid not working right? Why do I have diabetes right now? So questions of that kind of thing, or even like, why do I have acne and I'm 40 something years old? So why is the question that you need to ask yourself. Okay, is there something that I can change? Is there something that I was exposed to? Am I really stressed out right now and I'm not coping with it very well, which is, pretty common right now in 2020. And we, as functional providers, we look at all of that. We look at how you're coping and work with health coaches and clinical nutritionists. It's a team approach because, you really need to look at the whole system. You can't just treat that one symptom. So anytime my doctor was like, okay, I'm going to start you on this pill, and I'll be like, okay, well, why do I need it? Okay, maybe I do need it in the short term to feel a little bit better. But in the meantime, I'm going to look long term. I don't really want to stay on this pill. I want to figure out what's going on. So maybe I was exposed to something. Maybe I need to change some behaviors, that kind of thing. So I think the important question to ask is why, essentially functional medicine is, why do you have that symptom? So
I love that. And I absolutely agree that I've talked with many people before that have had depression that, an antidepressant really saved them for that time being, when you can't really like you're so just so immersed in this state of being that's depressing. And so I've definitely heard that before too. So yeah, it's not to knock it, but then absolutely really asking those questions. Why I love asking those questions. I'm all about finding purpose, pain to purpose, and looking at the purpose behind things and asking those questions. We can learn a lot about ourselves, and once we go on that journey, we can share this information of what we've learned with others. So yeah, that's really great. So
yeah, we see a lot of insomnia right now, a lot of anxiety and depression, and there's some amazing things. We're getting ready to post an article on my website actually about anxiety and natural things that you can do and natural supplements that you can take to actually calm your system down. So some of those are even comparable to the prescriptions that you get, but they don't cause you to have a habit or cause you to have addiction to it. So it's kind of a natural way to kind of slowly calm down, but then at the same time, let's figure out why you're having that. I notice myself, if I eat some certain foods that I'm like, God, why do I feel so anxious? I don't know, so weird. Like I was totally fine. And now I'm like, ah. And I notice that some foods actually can trigger that as well. So if you can just calm yourself down enough, your body can tell you what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What if you can share with us, what are some things that we can do because I know for me, like my anxiety in the last 4 months, ever since COVID really has been like way higher than it's ever been in my whole entire life. And one of that was like not going to yoga studios regularly as I was before. But just, yeah, anything that you recommend as far as things that us and our listeners can do to help with anxiety?
So anxiety, if you're just looking, to take something to kind of help you, we have supplements from our website. It's called Carewell, and the supplements are pharmaceutical grade supplements. So you know what's in them. They've been third party tested. They're safe and they're effective, and you don't need as much of them usually because you are taking really potent stuff. So one that I really like is usually blends of stuff, but they're usually has a product called GABA in it, and GABA can help calm the nervous system. Then there's ashwagandha, there's holy basil. So those help decrease the cortisol or our stress hormone inside of our body to allow us to function appropriately. But I also, if you have any other questions that are more specific, you can always talk to me. You can book a 15-minute consultation for free just to talk to me to see if you have questions about what do you think you should be doing. Sign up on the website, which is evolutionhealthconsulting.com. And I just wanted to say one of the reasons I called it Evolution Health Consulting is because we're trying to change the face of healthcare from a sick care model to more of a well care model. And everyone in functional medicine believes the same thing. That's all we're trying to do is help you feel better and not just give you more pills after more pills. Because one of the leading causes of death is medical error. It's like top 4 leading causes of death. So we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to get rid of that as long as we can. But the supplements, we're on the article that I'll post to the website. There's going to be a lot about anxiety and ways to relax, things to do as far as meditation or just, gratitude is a really good one. writing down what you're thankful for, even though that sounds a little silly, it does help you be like, you know what, it's a beautiful day outside. The trees look great. Let's just start small. Like, I woke up today. I brushed my teeth. Like those little things. Like I'm doing good. Like, everyone puts a lot of pressure on themselves, and this year has definitely been pressure filled. So I think it's really important for us to focus on how can we build our immune system, how can we calm our nervous system, and thrive instead of just trying to survive and get by.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Oh, so exciting. So who are I'm sure you work with all different types of clientele. So, but what type of people typically have you seen in the last year or so?
Man, well, in my opinion, functional medicine is for everybody. I think really where we'd like it to start is before the mom gets pregnant, and detoxing and getting all of that yucky junk out of the system that can be, transferred to the baby. But then starting with the baby,
Good. Yeah.
If you can't start there, start with the baby. Make sure the baby's going to stay healthy. Build the baby's immune system.
Preventative.
Can't do that, then start with those teenagers. Yeah, and then around our age, around 40s, our thyroids start working as effectively. We get more stressed out. We have kids. We're busy. We start getting symptoms of different things: insomnia, autoimmune disease. That's huge. Lately, I've been surrounded by around 4 people that I know closely that have cancer, age 40s. 2 of them are terminal. And it just kills me, right? Because I just wish that I could have been there for them a few years ago, like able to help these people dump that toxic load bucket that we were talking about, see if we could have prevented them from getting to this stage, or because cancer is an autoimmune disease. We can reverse it. Everyone has cancer cells in their body, but it's how your body's reacting to it. So if your immune system's on point, you're going to be solid. But if your immune system is disrupted by, infections that you don't know about, like heavy metals, mold is huge, Lyme disease, chronic Lyme disease. If you have this big toxic burden, your body isn't going to be able to fight all those different infections. And that's what allows cancer to take over. So anyone that has a history of cancer in their families, or if they have a history of autoimmune disease, if they have IBS, or that they have constipation, or they have diarrhea, like acne, like all of those have a root cause. And, it's really cool to be able to stop all of that and reverse it. I had a patient, she had a history, her brother had Lyme and 2 of her sisters had MS. And we know that low vitamin D levels is, bad for a lot of different things, especially COVID, autoimmune diseases, but especially in MS. So our goal range with her is to get her vitamin D range up to around 65, which seems high compared to what your doctor wants you to have it at, which is around 30, 35. So a lot different, right? Our goal is a lot higher because we know with MS, a high vitamin D level can keep symptoms and kind of keep your immune system at bay so that you don't develop that. I also found mold inside of her body, and some toxins. And so we worked on getting rid of all of that. And, her goal was to be out of, her siblings, be the healthiest and not develop that. So it's really fun to work on that level, because it's kind of like, haha, we're fooling you. We're not gonna let you go down the same path. We're gonna stop the madness essentially, and get you feeling better for living the life you're meant to live. So
Oh, yeah, I love that. I know that there's so many people out there that wait until it gets really bad before,
Yeah,
like, the tip most people they wait until they're in the shit, until like, oh, okay, crap, now that I have like signs of this illness or disease, now it's time to make a change.
right.
So therefore, like, really being conscious and aware of how your body's feeling, and
Yeah,
your mental state as well, is
right.
super important, so you can kind of get these signs early, and investing into yourself and your health, your well-being, your life is the best thing that you can do. I mean, you only get this one body in this life,
Right.
so
Yeah. I mean,
taking
I
care of
try to
it.
tell people, I'm like, if you look at what you spend your money on in your lifetime, we'll go to Costco or wherever and spend $500 and you come home and you got some really cool stuff. But I mean, what happens if your body isn't working anymore? What happens if you can't go to Costco? What happens if you can't go to work, because your body isn't working right? Like, what's your long-term goal? Do you want to see your grandkids grow up? Do you want to be able to travel, if we can do that again someday? So what's your why do you want to get better? And maybe you don't, maybe you don't want to get better, but I think most people, you know want to feel great. And nobody wants to be tired all day long. Nobody wants their joints to hurt. Nobody wants to have to run to the bathroom 100 times because they have this chronic, gastrointestinal issue that their doctors can't figure out, So prevention doesn't necessarily sell, when you have pain, you want to do something about it. Um, so I kind of, functional medicine providers are usually some of the last resorts because people are like, I tried everything else and nothing worked. I wish I would have found you sooner, And so, my biggest thing to people now is just like, don't wait, now's the time. Support your immune system. I even have a 15% off of immune boosting supplements. It has everything you can think of that you need for the season right now. Vitamin D, elderberry, ignatia, like everything you need, vitamins, minerals that you're missing in your SAD diet, So at the top of my website, there's a little banner you can click on, 15% off. It's self-explanatory once you're on the website, but I really want people to be able to live their best life, and feel good. It feels good to feel good.
Yes, because then when you're feeling good, you radiate that out, and God, the world needs as much positive, uplifting energy, and people that are in that space, and being there, and sharing it as much
Yeah,
as possible. You know what I mean? So just having
definitely.
that exuberant energy, because your vitality, your health, your mindset, everything's in alignment, and you feel good, and you can share that with people. So
Right.
yeah, I
That's
love it.
exactly right.
Yay. All right, Sabrina, is there anything else that you'd like to share about functional medicine? Anything you'd like to share with people?
Well, I would just say that, everyone is loved, and as functional medicine providers, we just want you to have the best life that you can. And if you're interested in booking a consultation with me, all you need to do is go to my website, which is www.evolutionhealthconsulting.com. You can scroll through there. You can look at, the coaches that I've hired, the clinical nutritionists. Everyone on there is amazing and awesome to work with. It's a free 15-minute consultation. You just click it, book it, and it sets you up, and then we can see if functional medicine is right for you. So I just encourage, everyone to take advantage of that. But that's all I have.
Perfect. Yay.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Definitely reach out to Sabrina. I'm definitely coming to her with some skin issues that I am having currently, that I've tried everything. Let's see how,
Exactly.
and I'm ready. I can already feel, you know, like I want to, it's just like, it's just a skin thing, you know, it's like not a big deal. But then, you know, if it ends up, it could be something more, you know, and you want to get those, if you're having some symptoms, like don't ignore them. Your body's telling you something. Really honor what your body is so intelligent. And even
Absolutely.
if you consider yourself a spiritual being, you know, a lot of times spiritual people will just like disown their body, or it's like not important, you know, but in unity consciousness, we're all one. Our body is very, very intelligent. And when we take care of our body, it takes care of us, and we can live an extraordinary life full of energy and vitality, and be able to travel.
You got it, sister.
Yes,
yes. Let's have fun. Let's start having fun.
Yay. Perfect. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. Namaste.